Hey, this is Toddy Walters from Cannibal, the musical, South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, and Orgazmo, here with you on Crash and Bleed.
Yeah, so you have a guitar there.
I do.
Do you have a song that you could open the show with?
Yes, I will play a song called Sprinter, which is from a movie that I made in 2016 by a local director, writer, Scott Douglas Brown. He wrote this script. I was cast as the lead, and I was able to write a bunch of songs for this and also record them all and sing on a collection of songs that Scott also wrote. So in this film, Stadium Anthems, there's 30 pieces of original music that are mine and Scott's. And so this song is called Sprinter. Run to the sound of the sky, sprinter. But never ever let them ask you why. 'Cause you won't believe me. Ask the sun to release you to the sea. But he won't be found, sprinter, 'cause he can't slow down. Hey! Not everything is a race, sprinter. But everything still stands in place. When the wild winds come, you can't sit still, you gotta get you some. But he can't be found, sprinter, 'cause he won't slow down, sprinter, slow down, sprinter, look around, sprinter, what have you found, sprinter, you have been found. Hey! He won't be found, sprinter, 'cause he can slow down.
That's incredible, mate. Your voice is just so amazing.
Thank you.
So, was it music or acting that was the first love for you?
It was music. I grew up singing. I always sang. I always thought I sounded like all the popular singers I heard on the radio. I just loved it so much, and I just knew that it was part of who I was. And so I was in choirs, and I started playing the guitar in fourth grade and played for a few years before putting the guitar down for a while. But I took my first acting class in seventh grade, and then I did theater in my high school years, went to college in Santa Fe, New Mexico for 1 year um, in theater. And then I moved to Los Angeles when I was 19. And acting is something that's super important to me that I still do today. I've been doing some theater acting, and that's been really amazing. I also wanted to be an actor because I watched so much TV as a kid and I just absorbed Hollywood. I always thought I was going to be an actor.
Well, were you joining bands like before the whole acting thing kicked in?
I played in a band for the very first time when I was in LA, the very first time I moved there when I was about to be 19. And I met a bass playing dude at a restaurant that I was working at because I was a waitress, of course. They're like, "Oh, you're an actress? What restaurant do you work at?" And so I met this guy, and he played in this band, and he told me that they were looking for backup singers in this band that he was playing in. And I was like, "Oh, I don't know if I could do that." And he's like, "All you got to do is put on a short skirt and look cute. It doesn't matter what you sound like." So I recruited my roommate friend Claire, and we sang backup with this band for about a year and did wear short skirts. And um, and we sounded good though. And that was my first time being in an actual band, and it was really fun. The band was like this actor, Lyndon Ashby. Uh, he he sounded a lot like Bruce Springsteen, so it was very kind of Bruce Springsteen heavy. But this was 1989, so that makes sense. And so I got that exposure, and then one of the guys in the band was like, "Well, you write songs, you should have a band." And I mean, that was when Riot Girl was happening and all of that whole movement. It just didn't occur to me that that's something I could do. So I was just very intimidated by the thought of doing that. But then once I started writing more songs, I was like, "Hell yeah, of course I can do this." And so I did assemble a band in Denver, and I had a number of members over those years, but one of the stalwarts was Jimmy Nasty. He's my longtime guitar player, lovely person. Recruited Ian Harden, who was in Cannibal the musical. Um, he played drums with me. He's an incredible drummer. And I had different iterations of bands for a while. I haven't really done the band thing in a really long time, but I've performed a couple like cabaret type performances of my music and other music that I love. And so I still kind of dabble in it. And I would love to do some more recording because I have such an archive of music, and I have a bunch of like song parts that I've accrued over the years. So whether it be like from on my phone, I just think of a part and I sing it into the phone. I have like 1,000 of those in my phone currently. And then I have like previous phones that I have a bunch of song parts. And then I had, well, first it was cassette tapes that I would put song parts on. And I just recently translated them over to digital, like most recently cassettes. And that was a blast to the past. And then have still a number of mini discs. Mini discs were kind of popular in the 90s. So I filled up a bunch of mini discs with song parts that I have to now figure out how to digitize them. That's fun. I like that process because it's just fun to kind of go through and you have to listen to everything and then cry. No, no, but I've never stopped since then.
And you should never stop?
And I should never stop.
Was there a reason that you stopped doing movies?
After doing Cannibal and after doing Orgazmo, I didn't really want to pursue acting. I just wanted to be able to curate my own career as far as like writing a song is something that I have all to myself and I don't have a director. I didn't do any film work, after Orgazmo until 2016 when I did a movie here in Colorado um, called Stadium Anthems, and I don't know if you've heard of it or have you seen it.
It's number one on the list of films that I need to watch. I don't know how I'm gonna get to see it, but I'll find a way. I will watch it. It's number one. It's up there.
It's on Amazon Prime. You can use my logins. Um,
Oh,
yeah, it was directed by a local Colorado writer named Scott Douglas Brown, and he wrote this script. And so I was cast in the movie, and I was also cast as like that. I mean, not cast. I was given the role of like a music supervisor, but all the music was literally my songs, Scott's songs, and like one other performer. So most of the music in that movie is me singing or having written the music. So that was really really cool because I got to get that out there, and I'm proud of it. So you should
yeah.
watch it.
I can imagine people trust you a lot with musical things because you've been doing it for so long now. It's like you obviously know your way around music. And you mentioned Riot Girl earlier. Was Riot Girl a big deal for you at the time?
I think I was probably influenced by Riot Girl, but I wasn't. I didn't have that rock aesthetic. As you can tell, I'm a Kate Bush fan. I'm big. Without Kate, I wouldn't have done anything. Like I love her. I grew up with her, and so her aesthetic is more kind of I think what I was influenced by than Riot Girl because I'm not a super not super rockin', but um, I'd say more like the Kate Bush, Tori Amos, PJ Harvey track is how where I kind of fell.
So you never got into punk then?
No, no,
Oh.
no, I never did. Have you interviewed any Riot Girls like Kathleen Hanna?
I've interviewed two punk girls, but
Ooh,
one of them really hated Riot Girl. She was actively against being called Riot Girl.
really?
Yeah,
Oh God.
it's not a label a lot of people like, I guess, because over time it's distanced itself from Kathleen, and it's gone more into the cute poppy punky MTV thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I get
yeah. You never got into the Misfits then.
it. No.
No. I had a slight punk vibe from you. There was something I was getting. I thought there's got to be something punk about you, but I guess not.
Well, I think I am punk, but I don't like. I think I am, but just in my deep in my heart. Um, and I think I met one of the members of the Misfits um, when I went on tour in the year 2000 with a trance artist like trance EDM music, BT or Brian Transo, and we went on this tour and the guitar player um, who has subsequently played with like uh, Guns N' Roses and all these crazy bands. Like he's super great. And after the tour was over, his name is Richard Fortis, and he invited me out. We went out, and he introduced me to someone who was like, he likes you. Would you want to go out with him? And it turned out to be a guy in the Misfits. But I was like, I don't know who you are, and I was married at
Oh,
the
no way.
time.
All right, we got a little punk story out of you.
Yeah,
Yeah, so Cannibal the Musical gets started. You must have been in your early 20s at that time.
yeah.
Yeah. So what was it about this fake trailer that drew you in?
Oh, well, I was going to CU Boulder, and I ended up just going for 1 year because that's the sort of track record I have with school, and I was studying performance studies or like performance art and performance studies and not on the main like acting track. And but I met I had a roommate that I lived in the same house with who he was in the film school and he invited me. I think he hooked me up with Jason so that I did a Jason one of Jason's early student films called The Still Within. And so I was invited to every quarter they would have or every semester they would have the students a big showing of all the movies. So I went to a showing of the couple of movies that I was in, and just watching them. Um, and I remember seeing Trey in in one of the short films, and he was so funny, you know. And then and Alfred Packer, the musical trailer, as it was called then, came on, and I mean, it was just this experience of watching, like, what in the, I mean, just the idea of making a trailer for a movie is amazing because it's just so unique. And it was genuinely like super funny, and the music in it and everything. And I think the buzz in the room was like, what is this? Is this a real movie? So my first thought was, if there is going to be a movie made out of this, I want to be in it. And I didn't see any women in the trailer. I don't think there was. There's really barely any women in the movie, except for some extras, and most of those are like the crew. So Jason got me an audition for the character of Polly Pride, and I auditioned. I had never met Trey or Matt, and it was Jason, and I somewhat remember the audition, but um, I didn't feel very good about it. I didn't feel like they were very engaged, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I did very well. I don't know how many other people I mean, they were going to have Moira Kelly play the character, but her managers made her drop out of it or whatever. And she was an up and coming actor at that time. So lucky me, I got the role, and that was exciting. Um, because I willed it, I manifested it. I was like, there's no way I'm not going to have something to do with this, you know?
Well, so what was it like to meet Matt, Trey, and Jason for the first time? Is there any funny stories there?
I mean, Jason, I met before those two, and Trey never talked to me, never, never welcomed me, never, never said, thank you, I'm so excited, and this is what, you know, he kind of just went into director mode, and just did my thing, but he otherwise was just not even engaged at all. And so I was like, that's interesting. I guess I just was like, he must not like me, you know what I mean? I don't know. And then like in that first shooting day, we actually had that big kiss in the end of the movie. We did that. We didn't even know each other, you know. And Trey had been nominated for a Student Academy Award in Los Angeles for a short animated show or an animation that he did. um, and he was going to get flown to Beverly Hills, and he had a +1. So Jason was like, Trey wants to know if you want to go with him to be his date. Like Trey, and I was just like, what? That is so odd. I was like, totally thought he didn't like me, you know. But that's the way it was, and the way it happened. And so, of course, I was like, yeah, I want to go. I didn't even think that we would strike up a romance, but that's what happened. And 7 years later.
Did Could you confirm that Jason had his shit together at the time? Like, did he know what he was doing, or was he sort of stumbling around, like discovering how to be a producer?
Oh, I'm sure he was stumbling around, but he has he has some this thing about him that's very like Northern Californian. Um, he's got this like vibe that's super chill, and he puts people at ease, and he's ambitious. And so I think like, and I think they all were just like guerrilla style, you know, and that in and of itself. And that's what Trey used to say all the time, like, just make more shit, just make things, just keep on going. And that's exactly what he does. And you know, while so many other artists just kind of wallow and go, oh, you know, and overthink it, and just stop, just lets them, it stops them. If you let that happen to you, you just become stuck. And so um, that's something that's I've taken from Trey and Matt, is just their sheer will to continue to create things.
Yeah.
And Jason.
Was Matt big on stepping in as a producer in those early days?
I feel like they were just finding their sort of footing as far as a creative team. And I always like to say that like Matt is Trey's sort of like skeletal structure. Like without Matt, Trey would be unable to do what he does, but Trey needs that. Trey needs someone who's going to be like someone who he can bounce off of, and like. But Trey is the genius behind it, and Matt is also super smart and talented. But it's not. It's one of those little ingredients. Like you're making a soup, and the most delicious soup has all the perfect ingredients, and they two make a soup together. That's 5-star Michelin. I think Matt. I think he just kind of learned as he went and just had to kind of fake it until you make it. I think they all did that.
Who did you connect with the most? Like who became your best buddy for Cannibal?
I connected with Elke. Elke she was the costume designer for that film, and we're still friends. She's amazing. Another producer, her name's Amy. But yeah, so I kind of bonded with the women on the set, of course. And there was quite a few women who worked on it, which is cool. And then otherwise, I didn't really. Oh, well, we drove from Boulder to Grand Junction area, or like down near Canyon City, where that old courthouse was, where Alfred Packer was actually tried in Lake City. And so we drove with Ted Hedwood, who was the Cyclops. We drove together because he was my roommate in college. We weren't still roommates, but I went with him and Brad, who played the litigator. Brad, who's like at the hotel. Oh gosh, that was he was an interesting person for sure. And he was taking fish pills, so he always smelled fishy. And so it was an odd experience. But I remember driving in the car for like 3 hours with them both to get to the set. And it was just fun and weird.
Are you still in touch today?
No, I'm not sure. We did a commentary a few weeks ago for one of the re-releases of the movie in Denver with Ian and Alex and Elke and Robert and Andy and John and myself. And someone said, I thought Ted moved back to Grand Junction, which is where he's from, which is like a couple hours from where I am in the center of the mountains. And I think that they said that he was like living in New York City, doing real estate or something. I was like, oh, wow. I don't know. So it's kind of like, who knows what happened to him? We're definitely not in touch.
Okay. Well, so you've just blown my mind with this new commentary track. Like, I wasn't expecting that. I knew the reissues were coming, but there's going to be a brand new commentary track all the way through the film, better recorded than the first one, because that was really badly recorded, wasn't it?
Yeah, I bet. I don't know if I listened or if I heard it. It's been a long time, so I'm sure hopefully it'll sound better this time.
Yeah.
We're actually the same. We're at the same house as we did it 20 years ago at Ian and Alex's house. We recorded at the same place, but hopefully, yeah, better sound quality.
They're still married.
They're still married. They are like the tightest. It's amazing. They are incredible. They have 3 grown, amazing children, probably your age.
So here's your big moment from Cannibal. Where was this shot?
Yeah, this is Old Main, the building at CU Boulder, where we filmed this. This is actually the second time we filmed it. The first time we filmed it in a beautiful outside sunset background, and the film was flashed, so it was gone, just gone. So we had to do it inside.
Yeah, who wrote this one then? Was this all Trey, or did you contribute to
Yeah.
some of it?
I did not. This is a beautiful song, and he wrote it. Such a beautiful song. I did my own makeup. That's why it's so terrible.
That's the best picture of Trey I've ever seen in my life.
It's so silly.
So was this recorded in like a proper big studio?
No, this is a building at CU Boulder, like a
No,
big
the
old
song,
school.
like the original song.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah, it was done at a studio. Yeah, it was at the studio of the man who helped him write the score, not the songs, but the score. So, yeah, it was definitely a professional studio.
Yeah. And I think someone's about to pop in and steal the scene from you. We should talk about that guy for a little bit when he pops up, but here he comes. Here he comes now.
Oh,
This is
hilarious.
one of the funniest moments in the movie. So who is this guy? Do we remember?
Oh man, I wish I could remember what his name was, but he was so funny. He was a super, super funny dude. And I don't know what he was, like, he might have been a crew member. I wish I could remember his name, but I can't.
Yeah. Yeah, you've just got the most amazing voice. Like, I've been listening to you singing stuff like this, and obviously the songs on South Park since 1998. Over 25 years ago.
Yeah,
And just look at you go. Perfect.
yeah, sometimes I hear, I'm like, oh, I can sing.
Oh, this is perfect. This is something that's obviously better than everything that's on the radio right now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I would
You
definitely
nodded.
rather listen to this. I would be nowhere like if Matt and Trey never made those early films. Were you impressed like by the whole film shoot of Cannibal? Was it like, oh crap, this is the real deal, or did it seem very amateur?
It seemed pretty, like, well done and professional because they had the support of the school that was lending them all of their tools and cameras and everything that they needed. And all of these young people were ambitious and really good at what they were doing. And I was really impressed with just the whole how talented all, like John Hagel and Jason and Ian, so and Dean, so like the level of talent in that group, most of whom knew each other from the school, from film school, and Andy Kemmler, so funny. That no, I was just like, see, this is why I wanted to be a part of this, and I knew these were my people, because I had already lived in Los Angeles. I did a couple student films in Los Angeles at USC, so I had already had experience with low budget short films and things like that. But so it was just on a different level. I loved it. It was so much fun. I loved it. Yeah.
So you know the story with Leanne, with what happened there, with how she became the horse in the movie. Did you meet Leanne? Like, did you get along with her? Because he brought her onto that film to work on it.
Yeah. Yeah. She was a choreographer because she was a dancer. She choreographed the whole thing. Yeah, I had met her a couple times during the shoot, and then maybe outside of that. And yeah, I mean, she is a beautiful woman, and she was super nice. And of course, I was like, oh, it's Leanne. And she gets so much attention and she's like the love of his life and whatever. But yeah, she was super, super cool, really good dancer and choreographer. We worked with her again on Time Warped.
Really?
So yeah, she was in Time Warped, and what did the choreography for Aaron. Yeah, she's in that.
So was that weird for you because Trey kept bringing her back? He brought her back for Orgazmo as well.
I don't think he brought her back for Orgazmo,
Yeah,
or did he?
that's what they say on the commentary. So she played
Oh,
the old lady that gets hit with the Orgazmo ray, and she's just
yeah,
like a woman on the street that gets hit with it as well. She's two characters.
yes. No, I forgot about that. Yeah, but I never saw her after that. I never saw her, and I guess didn't I didn't really feel threatened because she was so kind. But I mean, they might have been carrying on. I don't know. But it wasn't that unusual.
So when you guys were working on Cannibal, was anyone on the set mentioning, "Hey, soon we might have this animated show," or "Here's a script idea for Orgazmo or Time Warped or anything like that"?
Not in those early days, although I knew that Trey had been doing shitty animations, and he would call them shitty animations. But so I knew that, but it wasn't until we started dating that I learned more about what other ideas he had in mind. During that time, those first few months when we were dating, he also we shot something that also disappeared, um, and it was his version of Beowulf, but it was on ice. So Beowulf on ice, and it was shot at Jason's dad's warehouse in Boulder, outside of Boulder. He might have told you all about it. And I just did. I had a role. I actually sang a song looking at as Beowulf's mother. But it they some I think someone stole the footage or something. I don't know. They had some weird things happen with things that they would film. I don't know what happened, but that was fun. And then once I got to know him better, he talked about the script for Orgazmo and the premise, which is that a Mormon goes on his mission in Los Angeles and ends up being a huge porn star. And so, I mean, that's hilarious. And I think they had been talking about that all the time, that they were trying to push Cannibal. He probably came up with the idea around 95 or 96, I don't know. But uh, they had gone to Los Angeles like a year and a half before I moved there. So we were kind of long distance. And I guess at that time it was popular for actors or famous people to like let's go watch a porn shoot, because I don't know. I really don't know why. Apparently Carrie Fisher was at one of them. And but that that was like field research for them, I guess. And they started interviewing people to be in the movie. And at that point, I don't think I was in consideration, but he mentioned a porn actress that her name was Davia, that he met, and how busty she was, but also kind of how stupid she was. And it's awful. It's not a very nice thing to say that about someone, but I guess that was true. And I was like, I could play that. I want to play that. That's hilarious. Because I was such a straight person in Cannibal and Musical, and I'm a comedian. I can do funny stuff. And so I got that role, and that was amazing. And again, I was only on the shoot for like a few days, but I got to meet some of the porn actors that were in it. But it was kind of a very different experience than Cannibal, because it was a much higher level of production value. And so it was just a different experience. While I think Cannibal the Musical is beautifully shot. Absolutely. It's a very beautifully shot film, and that's Robert Muratori, who I don't know if you've ever talked to him, but he's amazing. And he made that movie so beautiful. But and during that time they had also talked about South Park. Yeah, and I don't know when that brainchild came to him, but it was all about that. And they ended up getting contracted with an organization, a film studio in Denver called Celluloid, and I worked with Celluloid too at that time. And so they made the pilot, and then they also had made at that same time the short Spirit of Christmas, which I assume you've seen.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves, because I did want to deep dive into some of that.
Yeah,
But firstly, on the topic of you being a comedian, who were some of your comedy influences?
Gosh, that's a good question. I'm like not a comedian, and like I get up and do stand up. Although it's kind of a bucket list thing for me. I kind of want to try it, but there's no one sort of person back then that I think I was like, oh, you know. So that's a terrible answer. Sorry.
Maybe a better question would be like, what were your favorite movies back then?
Okay. One of my all-time favorite movies is A Fish Called Wanda. I've watched that 30 times, easy. Princess Bride, of course. One of my all-time favorite movies as well is Harold and Maude. Those are the very top of my list. It's like there's not very many movies you want to watch more than once, and it's sort of like, well, Love Actually is also up there too, but everyone loves that movie.
Okay, I was gonna say I've watched South Park the movie probably 8,000 times, maybe more.
Really?
Yeah. Had you seen the original South Park short in those Cannibal Days? Did somebody show it to you, or were you exposed to it somehow?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
What was your initial impression of it?
I wasn't an 11-year-old boy, which Trey is an 11-year-old boy. Is. and so I just don't think I really got it. You know what I mean? But I could see the potential. Like I could see the potential in everything. Of course,
Yeah.
I liked the one he did with that he got nominated for the Academy Award, the Student Academy Award for. I think it was called The History of America. Did you ever see that one?
Yeah. I've got all of them.
Oh, wow. Cool. Because how old were you when you first saw South Park?
South Park, I watched it the day it aired in the UK for the first time. So that would have been 97, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Wow.
because I was the same age that the boys were on the show, so about 7 or 8 years old. And I've still got my... let me show you this, hold on.
Wow.
Do you remember
my
these
gosh.
VHS tapes?
What? No, I'm too young.
Yeah, so that was your first episode, I think, the Tom's Rhinoplasty episode.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
voiced
okay.
various characters in that one, I think. But,
Yeah. I don't even know which ones. The only one I remember is the Rainforest Schmainforest. Because that was
Yeah.
my big leap.
Yeah. Oh, we'll talk about that when we get to it. Don't worry about that. Yeah, I just wanted to tell you that like I recognised your voice in South Park early on. Every time you popped up, I was like, "That's that girl again," because you have a very pleasing voice, very pleasing to the ear. Just your speaking voice, as well, very, very, very pleasing to me. I always noticed who you were, and then around 2005 was when I saw Cannibal for the first time. Like I immediately knew you. I was like, "That's that girl. That's the nurse from season 2. That's Kenny's girlfriend from season 3." I immediately knew, and then I went on a binge and discovered everything that you were doing. Really hard to find your stuff, by the way. Is that on purpose? Do you keep a low profile?
Not really, but yeah, I guess I don't self promote very much, and I would like to. I mean, I would like to be the next Allison Janney. You know what I mean? Like, I want to get out there and do more acting and like so, or have a late in life career. But I don't know. That's something I just need to, I guess, technologically figure out how to get everything up, like to Spotify or whatever. You know, it's really
Yeah.
just a logistic process that I have to learn how to do.
So you see the script for Orgasmo for the first time. What are you thinking? Are you thinking, okay, I want to be involved, or are you a bit like, oh, I don't know, because I know you're not like a huge fan of the porn thing, but was it nerve wracking to be around the porn stars?
No, I was dedicated to doing to to. I was so excited about playing this character, and I just felt really strong and empowered, and I felt very like I had this character down. And while it's kind of a dumb character that you may not see these days because it's not super flattering, but or to women, you know, it can be a little demeaning. Like I've talked about this, as you know, in the porn industry. But yeah, I mean, there were aspects of it that like were a little gritty. Like and now that Ron Jeremy has been exposed, pun intended, like for all the mischief he's created, it's just a little gross. That time was a little hard for me because it was very it's hard. It was hard to be in like a relationship with someone who's experiencing so much fame, you know. So it was hard, but I wanted to always just wanted to be, a part of the team. I wanted to continue working with them, and I never really thought, and I hope no one ever felt like I was only given opportunities because I was dating him. Like I wanted to be seen on my own right as um, successful or talented or whatever. And so, that's the loss of like I would always want to be amicable with my exes. I've always tried to be like, I think that you loved each other at one point. Why not just continue? You don't have to be best friends, but you don't have to like just super estrange yourself either. And that's kind of sad that I felt like after we weren't together anymore, it was sort of like, well, you're dead to me now, because I have liked to continue to work with them, and I know that they have had other people around in this circle that feel kind of similar, and that's okay. And I'm over thinking about it, but it is kind of what it is.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate all of the opportunities that I was afforded working on the South Park feature film in the office as the office production coordinator of that, and all of the opportunity. I mean, don't I'm so grateful for sure.
Well, you have a huge cult fan base. I don't know if you know this, but there's like fake Toddy Walters websites run by fans where they've listed every single thing that you've done. They've tried to guess every one of your songs. Like, they even write all the song lyrics down. Like, people care about you deeply. I am one of those people, by the way. I don't make the fake websites, but like, I am freaking out because I'm meeting you. Like, I'm really excited to meet you. Like, I'd rather be talking to you than say Winona Ryder,
That's cool.
who you played in the South Park movie. And I know you didn't talk to her, you didn't get any feedback from her, but do you think that she saw it? Do you think maybe she got a little giggle out of it? Do you think she's a fan?
Oh gosh, I hope so. I I hope so. I don't know. I know it would be so fun to like, 'cause, and that Primus has that song,
Yeah.
Winona's Black Beaver. which I hopefully she gets a kick out of that too. I mean, I don't know if it was written about her or anything, but yeah, I would thought it's really it's not mean spirited how they portray her in the movie. It's hilarious, and I imagine she probably got a chuckle out of it. I hope.
Yeah, I was thinking last night, or Thursday night, I was thinking like if they remade Cannibal with major mainstream movie stars, how would you feel if Winona Ryder played your part?
Oh my god, that would be hilarious. That would be awesome.
Well, I couldn't see any mainstream actors replacing you in Orgazmo. Um, I think you stay cross-eyed for the entire film. Like, was that difficult to pull off?
It was kind of it was kind of, but it's because I think Trey told me that she kind of has this like wonky eye or something, and I think that I took that. Yeah, it was kind of hard.
You,
I was committed.
you're doing some
Uh,
incredible background acting as well. Like, whoever's talking, you have this like rush of excitement for whoever's talking. You're like, oh, they're saying something, and oh, you're saying something now. It's incredible. But yeah, I think my favorite moment it might have got cut out of the film, but it's where you're having like your picture taken with the guys, and you just come out with like, I love rainbows.
oh, did it get cut?
It might have got cut. It might have been in the film, but I got another link for you because there's these deleted scenes that I wanted you to do a little commentary on, and I wasn't finding the rainbow thing, so maybe it did end up in the film. But this is two deleted scenes featuring you from Orgasmo. There you are, about to knock that lamp over. But but they could not have cast anyone better to play this part. I think you're doing it so perfectly. It's just so believable as well. I mean, just look at you. No one could replace you in this movie. There you go. This is
What?
my favorite. This is my favorite deleted scene right now. You walk off in every direction, which I think is a first in cinema history. What? Wrong way. Wrong way. So, what was this like? Was this like huge? How did this compare to Cannibal? Like behind the scenes?
I don't know. It had a really fun, energizing feel that was just so fun. And just, I mean, Matt Stone in this film, he's effing hilarious. His facial expressions and his, like, the whole gay thing. Oh my God, that's so funny. And I had so much fun on the days that I was there, just watching. Oh my God, yeah, it was so fun.
What
Totally forgot about those scenes.
did you like? Make any friends, like new porn star friends that you kept in touch with, like to this day?
No, no, I did not make any porn star friends, but I did. I mean, I made a friend on set who, Julie. Do you know her name? She was the one that's like, "Are we fucking?" You know, and So anyway, I can't remember her last name, but she was so sweet. We made friends in the couple days that we talked for a while because she's from Colorado, and so I made friends with her. But as far as anyone else, I I struck up a friendship with Jake Rose, who was one of the producers, who gave me an opportunity to audition for a film that because he was really taken by my performance, and so I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, if this could lead to more auditions, yeah. But this audition I went on, well, the script first of all called for like nudity, and it was so dumb. It was so dumb, but I was like, I'm going anyway, whatever. And I went, and the director clearly he was just like not very nice, and didn't I don't think he connected with me at all. And then I guess they rebranded the movie, and it did get made, and I don't remember the name of it or anything. Well, I didn't get cast, but Eric Roberts was in it. That was the only opportunity I had after that, and I stayed in Los Angeles until 2011. But I didn't pursue acting again, and I was okay with that. Um, I wish now. I kind of wish if I were to go back, I wish I would have tried harder. Um, but
It's
you know,
it's not too late. I mean, you're still great. You've still got it.
still got it. I
So
could.
so was there a conversation that happened between Matt, Trey, and Jason for Matt and Jason to take a step back from acting? Because Matt's only in the film for about 2 minutes, and Jason, he literally just yells stunt cock. That's his whole line. Like, was that a conversation that they had to have?
I don't know, but I don't think Jason was ever interested in acting. I mean, I don't know, maybe you know different because you talked to him for 18 hours, but I don't, and Matt, I don't think was really either. I didn't get a strong impression that either of them wanted to, be an actor. And also, I think like I'm surprised Trey hasn't done more acting because he's so talented, like in just the world in general. I don't understand. I feel like he could do some really incredible work. And same with Matt. I'm sure he could as well. But I don't know. I don't think they had to have that conversation though.
No. I didn't spot Matt in the first episode of Time Warped. Was he in that one?
No, he wasn't.
So what was his job on the film? On the episode?
I don't know. I guess he was probably just producing. I don't really remember. But what I did on the second one, Rom and Jewel, I helped with costumes and makeup, so I had to like clothe 200 extras and put makeup on them, but my other job was to hold an umbrella up over Matt wherever he walked because it was so hot, and like hold a big thing of water with a big long straw so that he could stay hydrated. But I had to like follow him around. It was so uncomfortable for him. And it's awful.
Did you have to dress up in the what's it, the Australopithecus outfit that Matt has?
I don't think I ever did. Thank God. I would have hated it. I think that I did. I was in a scene as an extra when they're walking across the desert, and all the women have the brown, and they're just kind of migrating. I was an extra in that in Aaron, but I didn't have to wear the monkey suit. No.
So you starred alongside Andy Kemler in the first Time Warped episode. That was his best performance. You have great performances everywhere you go, but that was his best as the Pharaoh. So funny. Like, can you talk a little bit about what it was like for him getting into that role?
I don't know. He's such a fun, amazing person, and he's sort of like a little self-deprecating. So for him to like step in and be like confidently um, the Pharaoh is just it's just funny because he's just so subtly funny. Like I agree that's like his best role. Um, yeah, we had so much fun just like sitting there and playing off each other. It was just I don't know. I think he did a great job in that, and that's also like. And I've talked to him and like you should do more acting. It's like I thought he was really good in Orgazmo, and yeah, he's wonderful.
Yeah. And you have that over dramatic acting that South Park is known for later on, like, I can't do it in this town anymore, that kind of over exaggerating. I thought you were great in that as well. What There's a joke in there that I'm missing though, because there's a blur effect. So on some of your close-ups, the screen's blurry, and the actors
Yeah,
are reacting to it like they're seeing the blur. Like, I'm missing a joke here. Like, what was that about?
it's it's an allusion to um, actresses of a certain age that back in the day they would put on a filter over Like if Betty Davis at the height of her career said, you need to put a filter over my face, they're going to do it because they want to look younger. So the joke is they're just progressively putting more and more filters on her so that she looks younger.
Okay.
It,
Okay.
it is kind of lost. I agree. It is kind of a lost joke. It's like, well, what the hell does that mean? But yeah, because that used to happen a lot. You could see it. Like if you watch an old movie, you'll see like they show the men and the man, and then they show the woman, and she's like, and she's like just a little bit ethereal.
Yeah. Was there a reason behind the cancellation of Time Warped? Because that was supposed to go somewhere, wasn't it? And it was for kids as well. Was that a real thing? Was that really for kids, or was that a joke?
It was for kids. It was for Fox Kids Network. And the reason why it didn't go forward because it was green lighted, so it was happening. But they got South Park for Comedy Central during that time, so they got what they really wanted.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure that was why that happened.
So, were you expecting Time Warp to go more places, maybe more episodes?
God, that would have been so fun. I would have loved that because I always that's what everyone wants to be an actor, but I'd love to be on a sitcom, for instance, or just a regular gig on a TV show would just be so awesome because it's like going to work and knowing friends and kind of doing the same thing over and over again. But that's your work. That I would love that. So that in that sense, that would have been really cool. And I don't remember being super upset that it wasn't happening, but I do think it had some really great potential to be a really cool kids show. And because I think you could learn from it. I think it would have been hilarious. So no, bummer.
Yeah. I think South Park kind of took over as a kids show because we were all kids when we were exposed to it, and it was our favorite thing ever.
Yes. It's so funny, like when Cherry and I were together, we would like if we were to go out into the world in LA, like he was just getting so much attention from everybody, but especially like young boys would just be like, yeah, that was crazy. It's resonated so deeply with young people and with everybody, all ages, but specifically that age. I think your age.
God damn, I've just figured out like I can tap the screen and the Instagram icons disappear.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Awesome.
For me, like South Park is the ultimate thing. It's like my all-time favorite thing. It's perfect, but what could make it even more perfect is if they'd kept that cannibal family through Orgazmo, Basket Ball, through to South Park. If that whole team was still together, that would make me feel so good. Like I'd feel nice and warm inside.
Yeah. I still get residuals for South Park, the feature film for Winona Ryder. But I mean, it's like every quarter, it's like $10, maybe $5. It's not much. But what I love about that is that, and I've said this before, but in the credits, my name is sandwiched between Nick Rhodes of Duran Duran and Stuart Copeland of The Police. So I didn't know that was until I saw the movie. I didn't know that was. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my god, I've made it. That's the coolest thing. Oh,
So this is my favorite vocal performance of all time.
really?
Yep. I'm not just saying that. This is my favorite. Obviously, I'm talking about the song and not the dialogue.
Yes. Yes.
How do you feel about me saying that? Like that's my all-time favorite vocal performance
I
ever,
love it. I love it.
and it's
Well,
you.
and it's me. Well, a lot. I've received DMs from people who ask Or say, I loved when you sang that song. Forget what it's called because I didn't sing it. That was Courtney Ford. You know what I'm talking about? It was another one. It was a really cute little song. Um, let me try.
Is it? Might it be? I remember when we fell in love.
Yes. Like for a long time, people thought that was me. And so I get people like, that's not you. Or you know, ask me questions about it. And I'm like, no, that wasn't me. So,
Oh man, see, that's one that I found. I had that link ready as well, but we'll skip over that one if it's not you, because that's one of the things that was on the fan pages about
yes,
you. So
that's
that's
in,
wrong then.
it's wrong.
Yeah. Well, do you remember what that first song was called? Was it called "Throbbing Star" or "There You Are"?
I I thought it was called There You Are, but I don't know. But it's it's like that Celine Dion song. It's a direct rip off of that song.
Was that a full recording? Like, is there like a full 2 minute song? It
No,
was just like a little chorus thing.
yes, much like the Alanis Morissette "Sticky Britches" song. There was like two, and then I did two songs that I was hired to write to sound like another song. For instance, there was one, Stan's grandfather stuffs him in a closet and forces him to listen to an Enya song. But it wasn't an Enya song, it was an Enya sound alike, is what they call it. So when, like, if you don't have the money to afford a Nine Inch Nails song, you hire someone at much cheaper to sound kind of like it, just enough that where you can't get sued. So I wrote this song, and like in the Enya song, it she lists out all these like exotic, beautiful places, and it's just like this melody that's soothing, and you imagine being on vacation in the Maldives or whatever. But all of my words in the song were like names of weird towns and weird places and across the United States, like Poughkeepsie or um, or in New Mexico, there's Terra. What is it called? Anyway, so I created all these like weird words that are actual names of shitty towns, and that was really fun. That was really fun to do, and I got hired to do that, so I was paid for it, and I was in Denver at the time, so I had my buddies at the Sleeping Brotherhood Studios, which they still make music there, and we created it together, and that was really fun. And then I also did another song. I don't remember what episode it was in, but they wanted to sound alike to the Indigo Girls song. I'm unready, I'm out of here. You know that song. And so um the song I created was called "I Love Domestic Chores," which was like what you wouldn't think that Indigo Girls would sing about. But I love domestic chores.
Did you write those all by yourself, or was Trey slipping lyrics in?
No, I wrote those all by myself. And um, my buddy recorded them with me and helped me with the underlying music to them. But I wrote all the lyrics. And I was like, that is so much fun. I just love doing that. I mean, Trey has certainly done that a lot. Most of his songs are just parodies of other songs that are just hilarious, you know? Like, who doesn't want to do that?
Well, this is the whole reason that I wanted to talk to you today. Do you have you're not gonna have it, but do you have the recordings of those original songs?
Oh, frack. I don't think so. No, I don't think I do, which is sad. Um, I mean, I could maybe find them because I really do would like to. That's one of those things that I don't know where I would ever have. And it was so long ago, and I kept everything of mine, but that was like their property, kind of. But I'm sure. I wonder if I asked my buddy Kyle at Sleeping Brotherhood if he could have an archive of that or something, because that would be awesome.
Yes. It's yeah. Oh man, I need it. Like you have to send it to me if you get it, because I will die.
I will.
So, what's your take on the creation of South Park? Like, could you give us like the little story of how the pilot was done? What were the conversations like at the time? Were you like, "Ah, this show's not gonna go anywhere. Why are you wasting your time with this?" Were you supporting it?
Yeah, no, I was around for sure, and I just remember they always mentioned this shitty cartoon, but they were just into it. The conversations were just they were just creating it. They were just literally cutting out card or not cardboard, but cutting out the paper to like in stop motion, just doing it on their own. And then they got more funding from celluloid to actually do it for real, just like they had done all their other short things. But I mean, there was excitement on in their part, and but I mean, I don't think I dreamed that it would become what it became. I don't. I just know that there was all the energy was towards that, and it was clear that that was a something that the Trey was very committed to. It's just really an amazing testament to having such a passion for the same thing for decades is pretty incredible. And while I haven't watched it, I don't know if it's gone downhill, if it's like continuing to be amazing. What do you think?
It's still great. I've lost track of when the new episodes come on. Jason said they're not really doing episodes anymore. They're just doing like hour-long specials. So we lost the channel that carried it. It always like it played on Channel 4 in the UK for like a few seasons, then it disappeared, then it came back, then it disappeared. Different channels kept carrying it, so it got hard to follow. But that's my collection. That's pretty much
Well,
all of them up until that point. But yeah, I've completely lost track, so I have to wait till the DVDs come out now. But season 20 started to dip down a little bit, but now it's coming back up because they're not focusing so much on like Trump being president and everything that's going on in the political climate. I mean, they still do a little bit of that, but it feels like they're just being aggressively funny again and very offensive, like they've always been, like from the beginning. But what was the reason behind Matt and Trey doing all the voices and Mary Kay doing all the female voices? Like you were there, why not you?
well, I guess you could say Mary Kay was really truly a professional voiceover actor, which I was not. And so the types of voices she could carry off were outside of my range. And I and I could have tried and I might have been able to succeed. I could have started working on it, but it's when you call in a professional, and I believe that that was the best choice. And I was happy. I love doing all the voiceovers that I did, and I think it's definitely the fact that Trey and Matt can do so many voices, and they know it's like creative control. It's that you know exactly what you want and I think it's just sheer fun for them. So, um, I mean, I think really I don't know how many other voiceover actors they utilize other than famous celebrities. But like you said, with my voice, it was instantly recognizable to you, which thank you for that. The same is true for Trey and Matt. Like, so I think that's part of it is the fun of knowing how much fun they're having. It's just clear.
Did you get to see the original pilot being made? Did you get to hold anything like pick up a Kenny and hold it or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I probably because I was at Celluloid Studios working when they were making that, and so I saw, yeah, I was there and I probably don't remember as much, but I was definitely like in the room, and I might have even helped them cut out some of the characters. I have some old paraphernalia um, of that time that I've kept for so many years. I don't know if I still have it, but just like a couple items. Like there's a little piece of film that has little tiny piece of film has some South Park on it. I might have thrown it away, but because I was like, who would ever want this? Or I have a CD I should send to you. That's just all the songs from the movie. Like it says Matt on it. Like it was for Matt. It's all the, I don't know what versions of the movie, but also I can send it to you.
Right. But do you know how many people would die to have just that little bit of film?
No, I don't.
it's
How,
it's
how
it's that important to people, man. And the pilot episode is my all-time favorite episode, just because of how terrible it looks. It adds so much to it. And
yeah.
do you have? And you probably don't. You probably don't have an answer for this, but I've got to ask you anyway, because that pilot looks so terrible. By the second episode, they went super digital, super computer animated look. Few episodes in, they go back to that construction paper look for like a few seconds here and there. Can you give us any insight? Were they scenes for the pilot that ended up in later episodes?
Wow, I have no idea. I really have no idea why they would do that other than maybe it was like the baby Ike, like don't kick the baby. Maybe it's that they reused because it was the same shot that they used multiple times. You know, I don't
I'm
know if that's
surprised you remember that scene.
well, I do because that's my niece whose voice is that. So Frankie is my niece. She did the voice for Ike in the very beginning. She's now 31 years old.
I
She was
had
2
no
years
idea.
old. She was barely talking, so just getting her to say "Don't kick the baby" was nearly impossible. She barely spoke. She was only 2.
Is there any other little juicy little bits of information from those early days?
Well, my other niece, Sammy, she's now 33. She was at the end. You know how in Cannibal, at the end, they show little tiny Tim going, "God bless us, everyone." So that was Ian and Alex's niece in the Cannibal. But at the end of Rum and Jewel, they do the same thing where they cut to a little girl and they put the voice of "God bless us, everyone." That's my niece Sammy, who's the little girl, for playing Tiny Tim.
I had to do that in the school play. That was my line.
Are you serious? Did you get it right?
Yeah, I did, but it was the only thing that I said.
That's
And
good. That's good. God bless
I'm
us,
so
everyone.
talented though.
You are. Are you making more? How many videos have you made?
Just 3 skate videos, and I've put like a collection of all the comedy skits into a movie. So you can find that. It's called All the Skits. Crash and Bleed, All the Skits. If you wanted to watch that.
You.
But yeah, so you've done a couple of movies then. Was Safe Cannibal was first, then Orgazmo. You did a little bit on Basket Ball. You recorded a song for it maybe?
Yeah, I wrote and recorded a song for it.
If you
Yeah,
look that up, you can't find it.
I
So I
I
don't
have
know.
I I do have that song. I do have access to that song. It's hard to hear in the movie. It's kind of not very pronounced, but I really like it. It's called "Shoot Your Ball."
Yeah, see, I do love that movie. I know you're not that big of a fan of it, but I I missed it. Like I couldn't hear you in that one.
I know because it wasn't turned up at all. It was a
Do you remember
favor.
what scene it was?
Oh well, I know that it was Trey and Matt playing basketball in the backyard. Like just the scene of the two of them talking while they're throwing the ball. I don't remember exactly.
So you've said in the past, like, you wished you could have continued, like, even if you weren't together, would you have wanted to continue with South Park?
Yeah. Oh, I totally wanted to. I would have. I would have. Acquiesced to even being friends, and not
You're
have.
not friends.
Mm-mm, no.
Have you not talked to each other since?
It's a little bit of a silly story, and if you're game, I can tell you what happened, which essentially, when I am, so, when I was with Trey, it just became clear that it was, he was so busy and getting so famous that essentially there it was really, I got kind of just cut out, and he just stopped communicating with me near the end of the relationship, and to the point where I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to close this motherfucker up. So I sent him a letter, like a handwritten letter, like, this is it, clearly you've you're detached. So, it would have been nice to have a conversation, but and that's fine. And we ended up pretty much like getting back together a little bit after that. But anyway, after that, I went on that tour that I told you about with BT in the year 2000. Um, um, and after I got back, I met someone, and we ended up getting married within like a month of knowing each other. And during that month, Trey reached out to me. So during that 2 or 3 week period that I had met Sebastian, um, we got married because Sebastian needed a green card. But I was also like falling in love, and I was like, I'll do it. I don't care. I'm just impulsive like that sometimes. And so during that 2 or 3 week period, Trey reached out to so I could come to Sony Studios and visit him, and he was doing That's My Bush. And so, and again, and not in the like, I want to be back together with you. That wasn't in my mind, but I was like, cool, that's cool that he wants to pull me back into this world, because I want to be a part of it. I totally do. And so I went and visited him, and he mentioned a small role in That's My Bush, and would I be interested? And I was like, of course, yeah, that'd be awesome. And like, I think we went out to dinner afterwards or something, and I didn't. Uh, that was actually before I met Sebastian. That was before I met Sebastian. So anyway, so I got this gig. I did it. I went on the set and did this little bit part, and that was fun, so much fun. And then I think weeks later, probably like over a month later, when I met Sebastian and we were planning on tying the knot, we were going to drive to Vegas on a Saturday. And on that Thursday night, the Sony calls to see if I'm interested in doing another bit part walk on the following day, Friday, before I'm getting married. So I was like, of course, yeah, totally. But all that whole day I was in the chair getting makeup and just going, wow, I'm getting married tomorrow. I should probably tell Trey. And now, upon thinking about it, like, I don't know what if it would have mattered, but I think I would have wanted to know if that was the case for him, you know? And so the whole day I was kind of like, oh, I should have told him. I should. And not because I want to like dig into him or anything like that, because I was not interested in getting back together at all. And so anyway, after my scene was done, they were wrapping up for the day, and Trey was being very kind and like sweet, and he was like, hey, we're going out for drinks after. You should come, And I was like, okay, this is my chance. Well, actually, I can't, because tomorrow I'm well, I have to tell you something. Um, and he looked at me like concerned, and I was like, oh, no, it's good news, for me. And he was like, And I could just see on his face, he was like, before I even said it, he was like, no. And I was like, I'm getting married. He's like, no, no. And anyway, he just had a minor freak out and he said, it's not true. No, no. I, I have to go to my office and cry. He got up, walked away. And that was the last time I talked to him. That was the last time I saw him. Like cut me out. Absolutely. And we hadn't even been together for over a year and a half, maybe. You know? So, I mean, it was just painful to not only to feel like he hadn't really owned up to some accountability in how I was treated during our relationship, but also this opportunity to just be happy for me, and just completely cut me out. It's just so I've never told that story, and it's a sensitive topic, and I don't say it because I want to be vindictive, but I wanted to be honest, and that's why I haven't worked with them since because I think apparently I'm the bad guy. So,
Do you think that Matt had to sort of side with Trey, and that's why you guys haven't spoken? Like you haven't spoken to Matt since then, I would imagine.
no, it was just so the energy around his inner circle of people when we were dating and we would be on the outs from each other having a fight or something. His whole team would just cut me out and you know not be very nice because in his world people do things to him. He's the victim. You know, he's not he's not accountable. That's just the way it was, and so the people around him keep a very tight sort of like brotherhood, like an unspoken rule, sisterhood, brotherhood.
Yeah. Well, how would you feel if, because there's a little bit of talk of Orgazmo too, not that it's ever going to happen, but if they reached out to you, would you be into that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. All the same
yeah.
cast, everyone comes back, even people from Cannibal, they come back.
That's so fun. Yes. But I would be playing this time around. I'd be playing, the character the actress that played the woman who does the DVDA. She's on the bed. She's like, yeah, double anal, double vagina. Like she's that's who I'll play this time.
Oh man, I've got to take a pee break.
Look, I found it.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it has a little piece of tape that says Matt on it, and then it's all these songs from the movie. I'll send it to you. Honestly, if you send me your physical address.
That you don't want to keep that?
No, I actually I've digitized my cassettes. I've digitized or all the CDs that I have out, and I've gotten rid of everything because I want to travel light. I don't want this.
Oh, I would definitely take that off you. Could you like sign it for me and maybe give me a little guitar pick in there or something?
Oh my god, yeah. Well, where would I sign it? I don't want to take up too much space on it. Maybe on the inside
Or the disc, maybe?
or the disc itself. Yeah, I could do that. I'll do that.
Thank, thank you so much for that. So, we'll do a little commentary on the Rainforest episode. Who's that lady there? Do you remember this?
Jen Aniston.
How did that happen?
Oh my god, I have no idea. I have no idea. But I can say that I've acted with her, right?
Yeah, I mean, totally.
Yeah, I love her.
I guess she might have been in that group of people that were like a huge fan of the original South Park short or something like George Clooney. There were some big
Yep.
actors. It's probably that. But
Yeah.
there's you picking your nose. Do you remember anything about the creation of this character? Did you bring anything to it?
Well, this is the only voiceover that they dialed it up to make it sound younger. I think all the rest of them are just normal. And so I just tried to make it as dramatic as possible. I remember that direction from Trey, just like everything is so dramatic.
Yeah, it's like a callback to the Time Warped episode.
Yes, totally.
Is this all like nailing it on the first take, or are you being directed over and over to get the lines specifically?
Yeah, I think probably there was some. It never took very long. I was never in there for like hours or anything like that because I'm that good. But no, it was pretty. It was pretty easy to do. It
Yeah.
didn't take very long. Yeah.
I think we've. Oh no, we'll keep talking because another one of your big performances is coming up on this video. I didn't plan this, by the way. I'm just as surprised. Like I've just like looked ahead. Here's you as the home ec teacher.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Kenny, could I talk to you over here real quick? Kenny, I don't quite know how to tell you this, but I'm not sure home economics is right for you. Well, your cooking is unsatisfactory, your sewing skills are below average, and, frankly, I don't think the odds of you marrying a nice rich man in the future are very, well, good. No, I think you should consider transferring to shop class.
I don't remember this. Woo!
But this is what I'm talking about. Like I'm watching this for the first time, and I immediately know that that's you.
That's gross. Gosh, I would never have thought that.
So when you, Trey and Matt parted ways, what were you doing? Did you get back on the band thing?
Well, I got married and I had a job on after the South Park feature film. I was hired for a production called Lil Pimp, Lil apostrophe Pimp, who it was created by Mark Brooks, who is a Denver native friend of mine, and also ex boyfriend of Angie Glenn, who's Matt dated back at the same time that Trey and I dated. So Mark is in this really. He was in a really big band in the '90s that like was regionally pretty popular. And anyway, so he and a friend created these short web snippets that were popular at the time, web series. This character, little boy, it's all animated, who's a pimp in this world of all crazy. You can find this movie. So they got green lighted through Revolution Studios to make the Lil Pimp movie, and it ultimately was a big failure. But it wasn't because of the talent or Mark or anything. It was the producers not understanding the movie and how to actually keep the magic that the web series had. So anyway, I worked on that for almost a year at Revolution Studios, and so that was a nice that I could keep working, which was genius. But then after that, I continued to play around. I played on my own. I started using a loop pedal when I play. I don't know if you do that in your one-man band, but I loop my vocals, so I could just sing over my vocals. So I lay down a pad and I just sing over. And I did that when I didn't play with the band. I would always use a looper, and I still do. And so I was just playing out. I was trying to get a record deal. I had a manager for a little bit. I did the album Planet Satsuma in 2007, which I Might is on that record. And
I was looking for that and I couldn't find it because, like I say, it's hard to find. So you have had official album releases.
yeah, I did that one. It wasn't through a label or anything, but I released it. It was on iTunes for a number of years, but I ended up just taking it down. But I do want to put it back up because I love that record a lot, and so I will find a way to get it out there. And I could probably share it with you in some capacity through like WeTransfer or something like that. I don't really know, but I could try because I do have it all. I have everything I've ever done, and I do want to have. I want to get it up. So even if no one downloads it or listens to it, I don't care. At least it's there, and then I can, because then it legitimizes me. So.
Well, I think, like I say, like people obviously still care about you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I do when people reach out. It's so nice. It's so nice to hear because you're right. People have a real strong love for the whole world of South Park, and in Cannibal, and I think that's so wonderful. So I always try to get back to everyone who reaches out because I do appreciate it, And I've met so many cool people like you. I've done some podcasts with really cool people, and I just think I really do appreciate the opportunity to use my voice and to speak about that time and to share. I've really gotten a kick out of it. So, and this one has been super fun.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. I wanted us to do a little commentary on this Stadium Anthems trailer, if that's
All
cool.
right. Sure.
Okay, so for anyone that doesn't know, what is Stadium Anthems all about?
So it all takes place in the record industry in Denver. And this guy's War in Paradise, so he's like longtime hair metal dude. And it's kind of like the story of how music is now so much different than it used to be, and now everyone steals music. You get music for free, and it's not even a thing anymore. So how you can make an impact in the music business? That she's a porn actor, which is so funny. But she's a very famous one actually, and owns her own very thriving, huge business, porn for women, made by women. I mean, not for lesbians necessarily, but just for women.
Yeah.
So, there's me. I play a bartender. I'm a terrible bartender in this.
I am offering you a job right now.
There's a lot of high-level humor and a lot of dumb humor, but it's genius, and I love it. I think it's just hilarious. It's pretty fun to watch. And I'm a straight character in this, so I don't get to really have too much fun. But I do get to do my music, and that's amazing.
Do you know if it was because of the whole Cannibal Orgazmo thing, that's why they reached out to you, or was this like a friend's project?
Yeah, it's basically through Denver. So it wasn't anything having to do with Orgazmo. And Scott, the director, when I first met him and I came in to audition, he had no idea what my background was, and he was interested in hiring me because I did a good audition. And I originally auditioned for a role that wasn't the main role, but just a side kind of funny character. Because the character he wrote, that is this woman who's in the music industry, and she also does a bunch of other things, and like she's a fetish performer, she's a school teacher, a school art teacher. She has all these like side gigs, and she just wants to play music. Anyway, the character he wrote was like a 25-year-old character, but he thought that I would be the best actor for the part, so he kind of changed the script a little bit to like talk about ageism in the music industry. So there's this joke, well, not a joke, but kind of like people say, "Oh, well, you don't want her doing this, she's too old," So there's that whole dynamic. Wish I could be more eloquent about it, but it has a good message, and I had a really awesome time making it. And I think it's good for what it is. I think it's not everyone's cup of tea, but neither is most things. And I'm proud of it, and I think it's a pretty solid movie.
Do you own it somewhere? Are you able to send that to me? Because otherwise I have to wait till I get like a free trial of Amazon Prime.
I can share that with you.
Yeah. Do you know if it's coming out on DVD or Blu-ray at any point?
Oh my gosh, I doubt it. Yeah, I mean, it was such a feat for Scott to make this, but like the whole machine that you need to have behind an independent film is it's so expensive and it's laborious, and so it's really hard to get it out there. And it's a bummer because I wish he could really, he's such a good writer. I feel like he could use this as a calling card in Hollywood or to be able to work more. But it's just such a hard business. So I don't think, and there's a really amazing soundtrack to it that has not been released. Like this whole album that he wrote, aside from the album that I wrote for it. So there's like 30 pieces of original music in this, and none of it's available except for one song on Spotify. And I'll send you the link to that. And that's not my song, it's his song, but I sing on all of his songs. I'm a singer on all of his songs. So it makes I'm like, oh, you gotta release the music. Release it because it's really good.
Yeah, it looks really well shot as well.
And that's Robert Muratori, who shot Cannibal.
You keep dropping these bombs on me.
I know. Small world.
So, do you have like a little song that you want to close us out with?
Yeah. This song is called Higher Than the Palms. And I wrote it when I was living in Los Angeles, where they have these huge, tall, super, super tall, skinny palm trees with this little lush of greenery at the top. They're impossibly tall and they're everywhere. They're like Dr. Seuss trees. It's amazing. So this is called Higher Than the Palms.
Change my mind. Midnight, let it come higher than the palms. Wake me up when daylight it comes. I may be no expert, don't read a lot of books. All I know is my curves get looks. So look around the corner, this heart attack, it wants to press charges, so watch your back. Midnight, it comes higher than the palms. Wake me up when daylight it comes. Some kind of solo in here. Midnight, let it come higher than the palms.
Something like that.
Woohoo!
That was incredible, and this has been one of the greatest moments of my life. You've warmed my heart as well, and I've just loved that I've been able to get you on here. Hopefully you can come back on early next year or somewhere around there. We got new Cannibal DVDs coming at cannibalthestore.com. You can head over there now, get that new CD. Toddy, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Jay. You've been a little piece of magic. This has been really, really fun. Appreciate your passion, and I look forward to seeing more of your work.
You're incredible.
Thank you. You're incredible too. I appreciate you.
Well, bye.
Bye.